From brain fog to bloating and anxiety to afternoon energy crashes, changing the way you eat will change the way you feel. Today, we're going to tackle what it looks like to move from a diet of processed foods, which is really a major culprit in all of the physical, behavioral, and emotional struggles that we talked about last episode, and we'll look at moving to a diet of literal life-giving whole foods. I'll show you how to practically apply these things by giving you ways that you can make healthier choices, and I'll provide ideas for snacks and meals using what I call the food trifecta, as well as 10 tips to make all of this more achievable in your real everyday life. This is the Well-Led Life podcast, and I'm your coach, Bobby Dahl. Thanks for bringing me along on your journey. While you're here, you're going to learn all about designing a life you love through intentional living and leaning into God's plan, all while taking care of yourself and your family naturally. We're crunchy around here after all. Grab an herbal tea, your journal, and get ready to learn all the things. Welcome back, my friend. I'm so glad you're here, and I really hope that you were able to catch episode 10, which was a precursor to our conversation today. If you missed that episode, make sure that you go back at some point and check it out. Now, this topic could be an entire online course, actually, and maybe it will be one day, but for now, we'll cover enough to get you moving in the right direction. We're going to start with nourishing your body. Let me begin by saying, nourishing your body is a lifetime habit that will change and grow as you do. It doesn't all have to be done today. Let's simply open up our minds to what our next level could look like. And again, if you listened to the last episode, you now understand why this is so important. A few things to remember as we begin. The changes we're learning will not just benefit you, but your whole family. And no matter where you're at on this journey, there's always room for improvement, tweaks, and shifts. Even for me, I'm still learning and growing too. There is also no judgment for where you are. Simply approach it with curiosity and intention. All right, who's ready to take back their health by transitioning from processed to whole foods? We're going to first touch on processed foods, and let's look at ingredients. So looking at a sampling of ingredients that you'll find in processed foods, most of which create addiction in our bodies. Literally, the food industry has something called a bliss point that they aim for when they design their foods. Crazy. And this is why we crave processed foods and can't seem to get enough of them. They are messing with the chemical reactions in your body. This is also where the lie of convenience comes in, making it seem like all this processed food is really for our own good and in our best interest, because it's making our life so much easier. And it does feel that way, but you must ask yourself, at what cost? Because the answer is at the expense of your mental and physical health and well-being. All right, so what are these processed ingredients wreaking havoc on our systems? Some of them. Here's a list. Sugars, also called high fructose corn syrup, or most of the things ending in OSE, that's O-S-E. Salt, or labeled as sodium, dyes, and they're coming up with some creative terms for those now too. There's GMO, which is genetically modified organisms, and MSG, but people are catching on to that MSG, so now they're just writing the whole thing out, monosodium glutamate, and it's going right over our heads, but that's what that means. Chemicals. Stop for a minute and really question, what are these things that I can't pronounce on the ingredient list? They're clearly not any food item. And if they were at one time, they have been adulterated so much that they no longer resemble that food, nor do they contain the nutrients that the food once had. This all may be where we're starting with processed foods, but it's not where we're staying. Because once you know better, you can do better. Well, the ultimate choice is controlling food quality. So what does that look like? Homemade, from scratch, with local or homegrown, organic, in-season ingredients. Whew. That would be the most incredible level that we could achieve. but I know that's a tall order and probably feels really unrealistic at this point. I'm not 100% there either, but it's a goal. We can aim for those things as much as possible, and the more we shift, the closer we get. Here's where I start with clients who come to me for nutrition coaching. We focus on learning what I call the food trifecta. So when you're putting together snacks and meals, we want to aim for a combination of protein, fiber, and healthy fat. This is a really easy way to transition to eating whole foods. Protein comes from things like meat, eggs, fish, nuts, and beans. We can get fiber from veggies like peas, broccoli, beans, avocado, berries, and whole grains. And for a healthy fat, we can consume things like coconut oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, EVOO, and eggs. Now, of course, those are just some of the examples, but it gives you an idea in each category if this is completely new to you. Having your snacks and meals in this trifecta combination prevents blood sugar roller coaster. It ensures that you feel fuller, longer, and allows your body to process the nutrients you're giving it most effectively. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you some food swaps. So let's start easy with 2 snack ideas. Consider what snack you or your kiddos are currently having and see if it meets the trifecta requirements of protein, fiber, and healthy fat. If not, you can try our family's favorite snack. Now keep in mind we are gluten and dairy free, but you could certainly have this otherwise. So our favorite snack is dairy-free, unsweetened yogurt made with coconut milk, a handful of berries, a spoonful of chia seeds and pumpkin seeds, and either a healthy handful of chopped nuts or a gluten-free granola. And then we top it with cinnamon and a drizzle of local raw honey. It is delicious and meets our requirements. Doesn't it sound yummy? Try it and let me know how much you enjoy it. Here's a second idea. Apple slices with plain almond butter. That means in that almond butter, there are no oils, no sugars, no other additives, just the almonds turned into the almond butter. We top that with raisins or cranberries and sprinkle it with cinnamon or nutmeg. It is so good. And how simple is that? These things do not need to be complicated, and you will eventually find that creating flavor profiles this way will reset those bliss points that were being hijacked by the chemical concoctions in processed snacks. Let's take a moment to pose this question though. What if we actually decreased or mostly eliminated snacks? At one time, snacks weren't a thing. The snack food industry made them a thing. I'm pretty darn sure that when my grandmother was milking cows and churning butter, true story, that her kids weren't bugging for fruit snacks, cheese curls, or Doritos. Maybe they had a piece of homemade bread as it came out of the oven, or pulled an apple off a tree, or perhaps nibbled on veggies if they picked them from the garden, or they were given a few carrot slices as she was preparing for the evening's meal. My, how we've changed so much so fast. Maybe they ate much more nutrient-dense meals where the calories actually meant something. Maybe they were more occupied and the boredom munchies didn't hit so hard. Maybe the standard of overabundance was set differently at that time and those bits and nibbles were truly enough. Crazy thoughts, right? These are perspective shifts. Yes, extra active times and growth spurts and growing kids need extra caloric intake, but maybe we can begin to redefine all of it, or at least start with the idea. You might be at this point rolling your eyes already and thinking, but you don't know my kids or my husband. I get it, but their process is going to hinge on you, on your choices, your offerings, your attitudes towards food. The words you use, for example, like protein makes you stronger because we know it helps to build muscles, or telling them veggies keep you healthy because we know the vitamins and nutrients help their immune system. And even the way you offer and prepare food has an effect on how your family receives it. You are the gatekeepers for your home, And although that can feel overwhelming or daunting at times, it's a gift to care for our family in this way. And in any case, you need this for you, not only to fuel your body and stay well, but to be an example for your family too. Let's pause just a minute to address what could be referred to as, quote, picky eating. There are many causes for this. Even nutritional deficiencies or biochemical factors can cause kids to crave or avoid certain foods. Things like gluten or casein and dairy that form opiates that are addictive to sugar and carbs, causing cravings, to additives like MSG that can cause preference for processed foods, can all be a concern too, contributing to picky eating. And, quote, problem feeding can also be rooted in food sensitivities that are causing discomfort or pain. It could be a nutrient deficiency like zinc, which can cause poor sense of smell, taste, and appetite, or even sensory issues like aversion to texture that can be overcome by trying out different versions of foods or different preparation methods. There's even the possibility that, quote, problem feeders may have an actual medical issue like inflammation in the throat or airway issues. You can see there are so many reasons why honing in on all of this becomes important and why I'm so passionate about food and wellness. So, that side note done, let's move on to actual meals. It is time, my friends, to stop making meals so hard. If we want to think about our roots once again from this perspective, the homesteads that once existed and are now only being revived, consider how they ate and what they had access to. Not much in the way of variety compared to our local grocery store now, and that was a good thing. Variety came from the season they were in and the spices and herbs they grew and the methods of preparation that they used, because a roasted vegetable tastes very different than a boiled one, and we all have different preferences with that. So let's start with breakfast. Always have protein with breakfast to start your day, or you're setting your body up for a roller coaster. That afternoon crash that you feel can be avoided by starting right at breakfast time. So what's easier than a few eggs prepared however you like them? I like to make them in coconut oil for some extra added healthy fat, and choose duck eggs if you would like to increase your omega-3s. Then to my eggs, I saute veggies, bonus for chopping extras at dinner prep time the night before to save time in the morning. So saute those veggies, have them as a side with your eggs for fiber, or add them directly to your scrambled eggs. This is an easy place to get in some spinach, broccoli, peppers, onions, and so on, whatever you like. You can prepare in advance sweet potatoes, either baked or smashed, or butternut squash. I like diced and roasted, and serve that on the side. Or my favorite is to make a bowl with all of these things. You could also use some cooked quinoa, which is technically a seed, and the eggs on top. Have fun with it. Finish with some microgreens on top because they are so nutrient dense, and they look pretty too. And then some fresh fruit at the end for a little fiber and antioxidants. Boom. That will set your body up for a successful day ahead. No sugar crashes and way less cravings. Just picture that as a meal to start your day and how much it would nourish your body and your mind, therefore supporting your emotions and your behavior, as opposed to, a bowl of cereal or a breakfast bar or just a cup of coffee or nothing at all. It is a game changer, and if you want to start with just shifting one meal, I would make it this one. Next up is lunch. I'm a huge fan of leftovers for lunch because I know it comes most naturally for most of us to ensure a balanced dinner, more so than any other meal anyway. So by default, a lunch of leftovers is balanced too. Make extra for dinner if you need to in order to pull this off, but trust me, it's worth it. Some other ideas. Make a big pot of soup in bone broth with meat and veggies or beans even. It's quick and easy to reheat for lunch, and you can get such a variety of foods into your body in one bowl. Obviously, this is especially good in the cooler months, but I am a soup girl all year long. For those hot months, though, why not make burgers for lunch? This may seem like a really basic option, but it is a big step up from a PB&J or just relying on a snack to get you through. You can add all kinds of veggies on it or with it, serve a side salad, or even wrap it in a big bib lettuce leaf for something different. I usually just cut my burger up on top of a big salad, so I'm getting all of those good requirements in one bowl. How easy is that? On to dinner. I think the easiest homemade things to do are sometimes the best things to do. Again, why complicate it? I love fancy meals and new recipes, but I also have an extremely full schedule. So, as a realist, here are some of my go-tos. Sheet pan meal. Roasting chicken or pork and colorful veggies. See how many colors you can eat all in one meal. You roast them all together with a drizzle of EVOO, avocado oil, or melted coconut oil, and top those with your favorite fresh or dried seasonings. This is such an easy thing to do, and I love that I only have one dirty sheet pan, which I typically line with unbleached parchment paper to keep cleanup really easy. Next, how about we go old school? At least I think of this as an old school meal. A crock pot beef roast and root veggies. You can up-level it by adding some beef bone broth and simple seasonings. I like garlic powder, onion powder, and oregano. Trust me on the oregano, it's how my grandmother used to make hers, and it's so good every time. Last meal tip, marinate your meat. Sometimes you just need more flavor. So whatever protein you're choosing to use, add it to a mix of one of those healthy oils I just mentioned and your favorite seasonings. Again, you can think garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, thyme, rosemary, some salt and pepper. Marinate that for 30 minutes and then grill it. Just add your favorite in-season veggies on the side, and you can saute or steam them or grill them too. And if you serve meals with a bit of fresh fruit at the end, like I mentioned at breakfast, it can actually curb the desire for a sweet dessert. That's your bonus tip right there. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over 10 tips to make this feel achievable. And you can find these listed for you in the show notes as well. And number 1, create a cheat sheet of snacks, lunches, etc. to hang on your fridge or your pantry. And then it's really easy every week or every day to go back and refer to that. Number 2, set aside time once a week to meal prep. Chop up all those veggies, cook some chicken ahead of time, whatever it takes to make your life easier throughout the week and to set yourself up for success. Number 3, create a healthy snack station in your fridge and create one in your pantry too. Number 4, try a new store that may have a better or different selection of fresh foods, or better yet, a local farm market. Number 5, shop the perimeter as much as possible. That's the perimeter of the grocery store, of course. Number 6, watch how you talk about food in front of the kids, as I mentioned earlier. Number 7, get creative. This is funny. For a long time, my kids called chia seeds sprinkles. So they'd ask for sprinkles on their fruit all of the time. And I had no problem giving them all the sprinkles they wanted. Number 8, get kids involved, making a meal plan, grocery list, shopping, food prep, and cooking. They'll be way more inclined to try a new food that way. Number 9, microwave less. And please, no microwaving on plastic or in steamer bags. It's another topic, but let me assure you that it's wreaking havoc on your hormones. And number 10, eat the rainbow. Look at your plate. Is it mostly all one bland color? That's a sign to diversify. Shoo, that was a lot of information. But don't let this overwhelm you. Remember what I started this with. Nourishing your body is a lifetime habit that will change and grow as you do. You don't have to do all the things at once. Pick the one that resonates with you most or feels most impactful and start there. Once that one becomes easy, move on to the next one, and so on. It's a process. Eventually, it will just become what you do and who you are. If it does feel overwhelming though, and you'd like personalized guidance, let's schedule a quick discovery call to see how I can help you jumpstart your journey or take it to the next level. You can find the scheduling link in the notes or visit the Let's Chat page of my site, bobbydoll.com. Lastly, remember to stop by my site and download your free 7 Ways to Help Your Gut worksheet, which I shared about in the last episode. And check out those show notes for those top 10 tips to make this all feel achievable. It's all listed out for you. Okay, my friend, I am thankful that you're here, and I pray that as you apply these teachings, they bless your mind and your body, which, remember, is the temple of the Holy Spirit. See you next time. Before you go, it would bless my efforts to spread God's word and God's love if you would rate and review my show. This is how the show gets seen and the word gets spread. And if you thought of a friend or a family member who would benefit from this, please share this episode with them. You never know how God may be waiting for an invitation into their lives too. Until next time, my friend, be well and be led.